The medical amphitheater at the Galactic Unity Academy was filled with a nervous energy that made Professor Velcris's tentacles twitch. 23 species of medical students sat in ascending rows, their various sensory organs focused on the human instructor standing casually at the center stage. Dr. Marcus Rivera rolled up his sleeve, revealing a jagged scar running from wrist to elbow. Several Zafrani students immediately activated their bioshields, their translucent wings flickering with alarm. Today's lesson, Marcus announced, pulling out what looked like a primitive blade, is field medicine, human style. The Etherian student in the front row nearly phased through her chair. Professor Rivera, that's a contamination hazard. The bacteria alone could kill most of you, yes, Marcus agreed cheerfully. He made a small incision on his palm. Green blood from a Mortiki student turned purple with shock, while the crystalline vertices began harmonizing in distress. Now watch. Marcus pulled out a small bottle and poured its contents directly onto the wound. The liquid bubbled and hissed on contact. This is hydrogen peroxide. We use it to clean wounds. You're dissolving your own tissue, squeaked Thymel, the Academy's top xenobiology student, his fur standing completely on end. Just the dead stuff and bacteria, Marcus corrected, wrapping the wound with a strip of fabric he'd torn from his coat. Back on Earth, before we had proper medical facilities everywhere, we'd use whatever was available. Superglue for deep cuts, duct tape for sprains, staple guns for emergency sutures. The entire class fell silent. Professor Velcris's 3 hearts beat out of sync. Staple, guns. The Aquari student's membrane turned a sick shade of yellow. Marcus grinned. Let me tell you about my colleague, Dr. Emily Thompson. Last year, she was on a mining colony when an explosion trapped her team. She had a punctured lung, 3 broken ribs, and a severed artery. He paused for effect. She performed surgery on herself using mining equipment and vodka as antiseptic. Stayed conscious the whole time by having her assistant tell her jokes. A Felian student fainted, their photosynthetic skin flickering like a dying light bulb. But that's impossible, Velcris protested, all 8 tentacles gesticulating wildly. The shock alone should have killed her, yes, Marcus nodded. But humans evolved on a death world. We call it Earth, but by galactic standards, it's classified as a Category 12 hazard planet. Everything there evolved to be either poisonous, venomous, or just plain stubborn. He pulled up a hologram showing various Earth animals. These are called honey badgers. They deliberately get bitten by venomous snakes to build immunity. For fun. The class erupted in disbelief. A Centauri student's spots changed to a pattern indicating extreme confusion. Your species voluntarily exposes itself to toxins? We call it vaccination, Marcus said proudly. We inject ourselves with weakened diseases to train our immune systems. We also consume mild poisons recreationally, caffeine, capsaicin, alcohol. Hell, we eat a fruit that dissolves our mouth tissues because we like the tingle. Pineapples, whispered a human exchange student from the back, grinning. Marcus continued, now showing images of human athletes. We break our bones and they grow back stronger. We tear our muscles and they rebuild denser. We can lose up to 40% of our blood and keep functioning. One human once survived a metal rod going completely through his brain. The medical students looked at their human classmates with a mixture of awe and terror. These weren't fellow students. They were barely contained biological weapons studying medicine. So remember, Marcus concluded, his wound already showing signs of rapid healing. When treating human patients, what seems like fatal trauma to you might be what we call Tuesday. And when learning from human medical techniques, he held up the blade again. Understand that we developed them by experimenting on ourselves, because we're too stubborn to die. As the class filed out, still buzzing with disbelief, Thymel overheard one human student say to another, he didn't even mention that time Jake superglued his finger back on after the lab accident. The Mortiki student's blood turned purple again. These Deathworlders weren't just studying medicine. They were living proof that the universe's rules were more like suggestions to humanity.